Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dr. Leslie Griffin, one of the co-chairs of the FMFC. On behalf of the rest of the committee and my co-chair, Stephen Hall-Wischon, who might be around somewhere, I'd like to thank you guys all for coming. So you made it to the last day of FMF. I hope you've had a good time. Anyone had a good time? Good. That's good. So this is our first attempt at doing a closing day keynote session, and I think we're going to be starting off with a pretty good session here. We have the honor of having Mr. Karl Subban. Most of you may know him already, but he has been in the profession of coaching, teaching, parenting, and leading now for about 30 years. He's known to say your greatest gift is your potential, and your greatest gift to the world is the development of that potential. He comes from the Caribbean originally, where he actually never played hockey, but he has since raised 3 NHL stars. So I'm happy to say that he will be here today to share some of his proven approaches to resilience, perseverance, and goal setting, and how to bring the best out of everyone. So please join me in welcoming Karl Subban.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for that nice welcome. When I walked in today, one of the photographers asked me how long I'm planning to be on stage. I said, it all depends. It all depends when they start throwing tomatoes at me. All right, so you guys don't have tomatoes. So before I start, I must read this. I'm not working on any grants or research project you need to know. I'm paid by Lavin Speaking Agency to be here today. It's not a lot of money, but I want you to know, but I'm here. I love doing it. And no consulting fees, no patents, nothing on the way. Maybe down the road, but not now. And there's nothing I need to report other than I'm the ambassador for Canadian Men's Health Foundation. Okay, some of you might see me on TV next week. I was on last week speaking to men about taking care of their health. So that's sort of my only connection. Well, I want you to know I wasn't feeling 100% this morning. And, but as soon as I walked in here, I felt much better. So that's the power. That's the power that you have. Now, I want to start with a quote. Okay, and I like to move around, so get used to it. I'm going to come down. I'll walk up and down the aisle. Benjamin Franklin. I don't always like to use quotes from south of the border, but I'll use this one. And I don't agree with this quote 100%. The best doctor gives the least medicine. The best doctor gives the least medicine. So some of you will say, you know, it sounds right, but I feel I have the best doctor, my family doctor. I have the best doctor, and he gives me lots of medicine. He does. He gives me lots of medicine. And you know what? I love my doctor. And I want to keep my doctor, okay, Mr. Obama? I love my doctor, and I want to keep my doctor. My thing is, he's about to retire. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I went to visit their office because, you know, I'm type 2 diabetic. I went to visit his office and to get some medication, and I brought a book. I had promised him, you know, a copy of how we did it. And I remember what I wrote in it. You know, Doctor so-and-so, thank you for taking care of my family, because he's done a good job. And I want to thank you for your time when I walk into your office and sit in that chair, the time you give me. I want to thank you for your feedback. I want to thank you for your care. I want to thank you for your direction. I want to thank you for the guidance you've given me. And you know what, doctor? Those were your best medicine. That's my doctor. Those were his very, very best medicine. When I became type 2 diabetic, I remember the day when he gave me the news. And then I needed a coach. I needed a coach. And my doctor, believe it or not, became my coach. I needed a teacher. I needed someone to teach me, about my health. And he became my teacher. My doctor became my coach. My doctor became my teacher. And I realized that my doctor is a difference maker. My doctor is a difference maker. He's more than a doctor. He was my coach. He was like a leader. He took care of me. That's what a difference maker is. When I worked in TDSB for almost 30 years, I quickly stroke out the word teacher on my teaching certificate. And I wrote in the words difference maker, because our children needed Karl Subban to be a difference maker. I want my next doctor, maybe my next doctor is sitting in here, I want my next doctor to be a difference maker. The medical environment is so complex today and so challenging. I don't need to go through the array of things that you're facing. Technology, change. And how are you going to manage that? Not just by being a doctor, I'm telling you right now. And I didn't want any of my teachers to be just a teacher, because I knew that the children in my school needed a difference maker. They needed the adults in the building to do a difference maker. They needed Karl Subban, the principal, to be a difference maker, just like my doctor was to me. And I know we have doctors in here, we have many different clinicians, but if you're working in a medical building, that's the mindset I believe you must have. The caretaker in my school, I wanted him to be a difference maker. You're cleaning the school to make a difference. I love when I walked in, I can see my face. You know what I mean? On the tile. Okay? So, and I hope that's your mindset. I hope that's your mindset. Because when you have that mindset as a difference maker, I think you're going to find purpose in your work. I wanted to be a difference maker. I remember and I did this at Brookview Middle School. I wanted to communicate to the staff the depth of caring our children need. I would say to them, you need to have the mindset of someone working in a busy emergency room in a big city. You're a doctor or some assistant, and a person comes in, life hanging by the threads. That team I know will do whatever it takes to make a difference, to save that life. Everyone here agrees. And so that's the mindset I wanted my staff to have. So you know what I did? Through a friend and a friend and a friend, I got my scrubs. I did. I have them. I should have brought them today. I'm not sure if we're allowed to, but a doctor gave me his scrubs. We're about the same size. Okay? And I wore them to my staff meeting. Carl, what are you doing? And that's how I got my message across to them. That's leadership, by the way. That's leadership. What are you going to do to touch the people you're leading emotionally? Yeah, they laughed, because laughter is good. And once they stopped laughing and got over that funny-looking guy in front of them, I was able to better communicate that vision that I have for them. So I'm going to start off with this, and I love to do this. Because, Henry Adams, he said this about teachers. He goes, a teacher affects eternity. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. I don't have to convince you that the same thing applies to you. I don't have to tell you that. It applies to parents, and it applies to people in the medical industry. Your influence, you don't know how far and wide it goes. And you don't always see it because of the busyness of the day, because of the stresses surrounding your work and all sorts of other stuff that you have to deal with. But you are making a difference. You are a difference maker. I don't want, when I speak to young teachers, I'm telling them we don't need any more teachers. We need difference makers. That's what our young people need today. That's what they need. That's what they need. And I want everyone here, I don't know what your position is, but if you're working in this industry, I want you to say to yourself, I am making a difference. Because you know what? You are. And if you don't think that you're making a difference, if I don't think, and if I never thought I wasn't making a difference, I don't know, I shouldn't be walking through the school doors and working with your grandkids or your children. And we don't always see it. I don't have enough time to share some stories with you. All right? But you are making a difference. And you got to believe it. Because then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? My doctor, I was more than that whole hip number. I was a person. I was a person with needs in his eyes. Because I felt the difference he was making. And I know many of you here have your stories you can tell. And you should tell them to inspire your colleagues in the times of stress, in a time of great change. And the demands of you are going to get greater. They're not getting better. And more is required of you, just like the teachers and those people who are leading our schools. So right now, I want everyone here, I want you to say to yourselves, I am making a difference. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. On three, please. 1, 2, 3. And I'll tell you, you guys are a lot better than the educators I worked with yesterday. They were not good students. When I got to this part, they all said it out loud. Now what I want you to do, because you see, it's very difficult for you to accomplish your mission. And we're going to talk about that. Okay? Because when children walked in my school door, I wasn't there just to lead them. I want to be a difference maker. We weren't there just to teach them reading and writing. We were there to help them to believe in their potential. That was my job, to believe in their potential and to help them work to fulfill it. So what I want, and it took a team. Doctors, nurses, you can't do it by yourselves. I don't care how good you think you are. We get a lot of pats on the back about parenting. Everywhere I go, Mr. Subban, I said, oh man. I said, PK hasn't made it in life yet. He's making it in hockey, hasn't made it yet. That's how I want to be judged. Malcolm is making it in hockey, hasn't made it in life yet. Jordan is barely making it, and I know he hasn't made it in life yet. All right? But I know it takes a team. It takes a team. So what I want you to do now, on 3, you're going to turn to someone you don't know. Don't turn to the person you work with. Turn to someone, on 3, you're going to say, you're making a difference. Because you know what? We don't do that enough. We don't do that enough. All right? In church, you know, when I go to church and the peace, and this is similar. We need to give each other feedback. Okay? Because we're all in the same boat. So on 3, you're going to say, you're making a difference. 1, 2, 3, you're making a difference. Okay, listen now. Listen now. When I go to my doctor's office, there's a reason he has a radio on. Because his voice is so loud. And I know everyone here has the voice of an educator. All right? So that was practice, by the way, because that's what we do in schools. We're going to do it a little bit better. I want you to do it a little bit louder. I know it's your 4th day, but look, I have no slides. Okay? Okay? 1, 2, 3, you're making a difference. Thank you, thank you. You know, so I've spent, like I said, 30 years, almost 30 years in education. And my life revolves around education. It also revolves around teaching and leading. You know, the 3 circles in my life: parenting, coaching, and teaching. All right, obviously you heard about I have 5 children. And then I've worked in all the schools I've worked in. And by the way, if I was at Brookview, we have 450 kids. Someone asked me, Karl, how many kids you have? They don't know me. I would say I have 5 at home and 450 at school. Okay, so I have a lot of kids, okay? I'm not like Will Chamberlain, if you know that story. I'm not like that, but I do have a lot of children. And I coached every school team. I coached every school team. and I coached hockey in the GTHL for 10 years. I don't know if any of the parents say here whose kids I coach. I'm going to declare something now. They never called what I did coaching, okay? They said, Karl, we're not doing cricket, it's hockey, okay? But if you were to connect those circles, those 3 circles, all right, you connect them, and they have that common point. I want you to write the word potential in there. Potential. That was my purpose in education, to help children to believe in their potential, right, and to work to fulfill it. That was my purpose. And I realized in parenting it was the same goal. It was the same big goal. To help PK, Malcolm, Jordan, Nastasia, and Natasha. I have so many sometimes I can't remember. To help them to fulfill their potential. And I realized with coaching was the same way. It was the same way. And I'd imagine with people in the medical industry, it's your job to make sure that we take the leadership in helping our patients to be healthy, right? So they can take steps to fulfill their potential. I think the work is very similar. So that was sort of my goal in life, is to help young people to believe in their potential and work to fulfill it. You'll never hear me say to young people today to believe in yourselves. I'll never say that to young people. I used to do it. I'll never say to the adults around me, believe in yourselves. I'm not going to say to Karl Subban, and I have these conversations all the time, Karl, you need to believe in yourself. Sometimes the world doesn't make me like myself. It doesn't. The world doesn't always speak to young people or treat them the way it should. So they get confused. Yes, I'm not a medical doctor. I know life is very complex. But everyone in this room knows about chronic stress and the danger, anxiety and the danger, and depression. And we know what's killing off young people. Okay? So that's sort of my take on it. I'm telling young people that their potential was their gift at birth. And when they develop it, it becomes their gift to the world. PK Subban is developing his potential through hockey. But look what his gift to the world is. I can't wait for him to win the Stanley Cup, okay? We know what he's doing in Montreal. He still continues to do it. Give it his relationship with the hospital for sick children there, and what he's doing in Nashville. Okay? So potential is why I taught. And it's a team. It takes a team effort. It takes a team effort to help our children to realize their potential. Yes, parents, educators, and also people in the medical industry. So potential, and I want everybody here, I already did this already, you agree that children are the future? Raise your hands if you agree that. You agree children are the future? Good. Do you agree that we should care for them, teach them? Care for them, teach them, coach them so they can lead the way. Raise your hands if you agree with that. Raise your hands if you agree that we should instill in them a sense of pride. Raise your hands if every little boy and girl who walks into your medical room or walk into my school, that they come to us with a beauty inside. Raise your hands, because I believe that. And that beauty I call potential. Our beauty I call potential. When people ask us how we did it, that's why I wrote about it. I wrote about potential. It's not about hockey drills or skills. It's about believing potential, the power in it, and working to fulfill it. Potential is in everyone, and it's everywhere. We carry it around, and it helps us to go around. Potential is more than eyes can see. It's more than the color of skin. It's more than what we can do, be, or become. Potential is more than we can do, or think we can do, think we can be, or think we can become. Let me say that again. Potential is more than we think we can do, think we can be, and think we can become. Potential is more than the color of my skin and yours. To see my true colors, to see the true colors of those children I'm working with, you need to look deep inside them. You need to look deep inside them. And that's where you'll find the beautiful colors of the rainbow that makes them want to reach and touch it. Inside me, you'll also find the most beautiful colors of the butterfly that gives me my wings to fly so I can go to places I never thought possible. That's why I believe in it. That's why I love it. And that's why I'm here today to speak to you about potential. I'm going to use our story to speak to you about leadership and being resilient. If P.K. Subban wasn't resilient, he wouldn't be where he is today. And because he believed in his potential, it made him stronger. I'm going to touch on all those things. Just raise your hands. Any hockey fans here? Raise your hands. We have some. Okay, any Toronto Maple Leaf fans? I know we got people from across the country. Don't boo them. They're doing a lot better this year. Come on. Okay? As you know, our youngest son, Jordan Subban, signed with the Leafs this past summer. He was originally drafted by Vancouver Canucks. And so he's with the Leafs. He's playing with the Marlies. Just praying and hoping he'll get his shot one day to fulfill his potential and to live his dream. Any Vegas Golden Knight fans here? Raise your hands. We got a few. I know they're so far away and they're so new. Our second son, Malcolm Subban, is a goalie with the Golden Knights. He's a backup to Fleury. And I hope that one day he'll be a #1 goalie and he'll get the opportunity to fulfill his dream. And some of you might have heard of P.K. Subban, right? All right, originally drafted by the Canadians, and he's now traded to the Predators. And just a quick story. I don't know if you know, but I'll make the announcement here. I am changing my name to PK's dad. Okay? We're still having a debate in the house because my wife, she doesn't want me to, and the other 4 kids don't want me to. It's obvious why, right? Because everywhere I go, PK's dad, PK's dad. So I figured that's my name, okay? So with the success of the boys and the girls too, and you know, the girls have done well. You know, and I let you know that we skated as a family. Our dream wasn't for the boys to play in the NHL. So Maria skated, I skated. We didn't swim, okay? We didn't ski, we skated. You know, it might be -40 out. We were out there in Brampton skating. That's what we did, you know. We didn't know better, okay? And so the girls, you know, they were skating before the boys came, believe it or not. They were skating before the boys came. And so when the boys came, they started teaching them how to skate. So PK's first pair of skates were his sister's. He was too young to know the difference, okay? All right? And the white figure skates. And eventually it grew into what you saw today. All right? But I should go back a bit about coming to Canada from Jamaica at 12 years old, landing in Sudbury, Ontario. And while I was in Jamaica, you know, I wanted to play cricket for Team West Indies. Okay, I grew up not with a hockey stick in my hand, a cricket bat. But it didn't take me long for the cricket bat to become my hockey stick and the cricket ball to become my puck. Okay, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the sports. It was a beautiful, you know what it did? Coming to Canada, all the kids in my street were Francophone, okay? I don't know what the hell they thought I was speaking with my Jamaican patois, you know what I mean? They're speaking French, I'm speaking my Jamaican patois, but the one language we understood was hockey. They invited me to play, and it helped my transition greatly. Because at 12 years old, you want friends. It gave me friends. And I was a good goalie too. I was Ken Dryden. I was a really good goalie. Not on skates, okay? All right? And so it gave me friends. It gave me something to do. And it also gave me a dream, even though it was short-lived. And so that's the power of sports. It helped me with my integration. And it obviously has continued to help us. It has defined our family. All right? So with the success of the boys came the million-dollar question. What did you and Maria do to raise 3 boys who were drafted and signed by NHL teams? And so it's like everywhere I go, people wanted to know. And after a while, I started charging $1. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't charge, but I decided to write a book, okay? Because the story was just too long. And that's why I wrote the book. But, you know, I sort of reflected on why they're asking me, because number one reason we don't look like the average hockey family. When we started out, everyone knew who PK's parents were, okay? Maria and I were the only one who looked a little bit different in the arenas, okay? All right, so, and that was okay. I never had any problems with that. Never had any problems with that. So that's, so that's how it started out. The boy loved it. They loved it, and they started playing it. And so the million-dollar question, how, you guys are from Jamaica. Karl, you're from Jamaica. Your wife is from Montserrat. And I heard this, your geography didn't influence you, and they're right. Well, I didn't know about hockey until I came. The only ice I saw was we didn't have a fridge. It's not a big deal. We didn't have a fridge. We didn't need a fridge, okay? You wanted a fruit, you go pick it off the tree. It was like, come on, what's better than that? The ice truck would come around, they would buy the ice, they'd put some sawdust in the ground, and you'll put some stuff in there just to keep it, right? And so our geography didn't really influence us in producing hockey players. And here's the other thing people are amazed with. We were not born into Hockey Night in Canada. We were not born into it. We never had its influence. We never felt its power and its reach. Everyone who was born in Canada, you grew up with Hockey Night in Canada. It was the source of many dreams. It was. So we missed that. So the geography didn't influence us. The history. And some of you, or most of you, are aware of the odds of your son making the NHL. It's slim to none. If you have a youngster playing and you tell people, I want my Johnny playing in the NHL, they're going to say, listen, can you have another dream or goal, please? That's impossible. We didn't know that the odds were so great, or maybe we would have done something else. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't know. So the geography wasn't on our side, the history, the odds, okay? But I got to tell this quick story because some of you, if you've read my story, you've heard that I was a pretty good athlete. I think I was. And my wife, Maria, ran track at Bathurst Heights. She's built like a track runner. So you're probably thinking maybe we have some special genes. No. There are no special genes here. I know scientists have traveled to Jamaica researching the speed genes, and they haven't found it yet. But I got to share this story. I was in Herb Carnegie Arena in North York. And so, it was Jordan's draft year, my youngest son. And the scouts are there. I'm nervous. I'm watching every step because the scouts, they scout the parents and they scout the players. So I went in that day. I remember getting my popcorn, great popcorn there, got my coffee, and then I just want to go sit off over there by myself to deal with my stress, okay? Because I want Jordan to do well and to live his dreams. We're all parents. We're all the same. Anyway, so I met someone I know. Hi, how are you doing? He has his buddy. I met his buddy, shook his hand. I'm on the way to the seat. His buddy left the group, and he came and tapped me on the shoulder. And he goes, Mr. Subban, I'd like you to do me a favor. I'm just thinking maybe he wants to know about the backyard rink, which we built for 17 years in Etobicoke. Because we did the rink every year. It wasn't a question about the rink. I thought maybe he wanted to know how PK shot pucks in the basement without ruining the furnace, and he did ruin the furnace. I wish I would have known about Sydney and the dryer, okay? I'd have taken Maria's dryer and brought it down. But it wasn't about shooting pucks in the basement. I learned from Paul Correa, just got nominated, I think, into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Paul Correa, he used to stick handle with the golf ball 15 minutes a day. And I had my boys stick handling with the golf ball. They'll tap it up, work on those soft hands. The gentleman, that wasn't a question. There's no question about it. It floored me what he's asking me to do. And we don't have any kids here. He came, and he made sure that people, if someone was close by, they would not have heard him. He goes, Mr. Subban, I'll pay you to make a baby with my wife. So, I'm telling you, it's not the genes. It has nothing to do with the genes. We know that our genes and the environment interact to make us who we are. And some people believe their genes is destiny, and I don't believe it is. Our geography, where we're from, is not destiny. My history is not destiny. I had no history in hockey. Okay? So what was it? What's the answer to this million-dollar question? Like I stated before, potential. That's and everyone here who's working in a team, and you maybe have a supervisor, maybe you're the supervisor. All right? I believe, like it was for me, my job, to influence the people I'm working with to believe in their potential and help them to fulfill it. That's my job. And that was my job as a parent, and I believe we did that. And let me share with you how we go about my belief. This is my belief, based on my experiences, based on my teaching, based on my coaching, in terms of how we go about fulfilling potential. I want everyone here to draw a three-legged stool. We've all seen it. We've all sat on one. Three-legged stool. Here's mine right here. That's the seat of it. 1, 2, 3 legs. In the seat of it, I want you to write the word potential. Write that for me. Word potential. Because everyone who you're working with has potential. No, they wouldn't be there. All right? The first leg, leg number 1, attach the word dream beside it. Everyone is with me? Leg number 2, attach the word belief beside it. Leg number 3, attach the word action. Because it's not a dream if you don't make it actionable, if you don't activate it. Is everyone with me? So potential has 3 legs: dream, belief, action. Dream, belief, action. You can use that and apply to whatever you're doing. With children, let me start with children. PK had a dream. You know? And that dream is, I believe, was located in his GPS. I always believe that every child was born with a GPS. Okay? And your GPS was loaded or you wouldn't be here. And it must be loaded by something or someone. I'm not sure if I loaded PK's GPS, but someone or something did. And he said, "Daddy, I want to play hockey like those guys in television." That was his dream. All right? What is your dream? Obviously, you have a dream. That's why you're here. And everyone you're working with should have a dream. When I meet with young people, I want to know who they want to be, what they want to become. I want to know what they're good at. What are you good at? For that, what are you good at? I know what I'm good at. And I know what I'm getting better at. That's all part of my dream, that leg. And by the way, when I meet young people or adults who are struggling, you know what I say to myself? Too many legs of that stool's missing. They have no meaning. They have no purpose. That dream is a source of purpose and meaning. All right? PK had a purpose. And look what has grown out of it. It has given him a lot of meaning. What is your dream? Okay? Everyone's with me about potential? It starts with a dream. It's your vision. It's your goal. I get excited, okay? I'm not shouting at you. I just get excited, okay? I'm an excitable guy. And the middle leg is the belief leg. You know, when you are working to fulfill that dream or that big goal, you will have doubts. I'm 60 years old, and I still have doubts. And people will also doubt you. Okay, I faced doubts. I had my own personal doubts. And I faced doubters. And people underestimated us. And people will underestimate you. Because that's part of the process of fulfilling that dream or that goal. Becoming who you are today, I know you had to go through something. You had to go through something. There are some rainstorms, thunderstorms, right? Hailstorms. Everyone goes through something. Everyone does. But how do you overcome it? How do you overcome the doubts and the doubters? Okay, I'm going to share a quick story. I want to tell this story to make a point. We were in the Silver Stick tournament. PK was, I don't know, he was about 9, 10, or 11. I can't remember. It doesn't matter the age. But he was fairly young. He was fairly young at the time. And we're in the Silver Stick tournament in Whitby, Ontario. Everybody, all the hockey fans, Southern Ontario knows, or Northern Ontario, so the Silver Stick's a big tournament. And we were there, was playing for a GTHL team. I'm not going to name the team or the coach. And so after the game ended, I don't know the score. I don't even remember the score. It doesn't matter. And I just went back to my Toyota Corolla. We had the 3 kids, Toyota Corolla, it's small, 2-door, you know, that was all we could afford. So I went to the car. and Maria was in the foyer waiting for PK to come out. And before PK came to the car, Maria was there sitting beside me in the front seat. She's like my navigator. And she said, Karl, wait till you see the look in PK's face. She said, I don't know what happened, but I've never seen that look before. I go, what do you mean, Maria? She goes, wait till he comes. I don't know. He didn't even know that I was there. So PK came in. I saw him coming. I opened up the trunk, and he's trying to. Hockey players know about these big hockey bags. These kids have these big hockey bags, right? Big equipment, and he's trying to force it in that little trunk. He finally got it in. Maria got out of her seat. He crawled in the back, and he sat there. He sat there. And I learned a very important parenting lesson, you know. Sometimes give kids time. Give them time to catch themselves and to bring themselves together. Pause is good, yeah, pause. And he told us what the coach had said. He said, you know what the coach said? PK, you'll never make it in hockey, and you'll never go as far as I did. You'll never make it in hockey. You'll never go as far as I did. And I like to ask young people this question. It's a really important question. Did the coach stop PK from living his dream? Did the coach stop PK from living his dream? What's your answer? I can't hear you. No, that's right. The words of the coach didn't stop him. So I love to ask young people then, what is stopping you from being better? What is stopping you? What is stopping you from doing better? What is stopping you from becoming more? What is stopping you? What is stopping you? So I don't remember. When I tell this story, people want to know what we said to PK. I don't remember exactly what we said. I don't remember. I'll be lying if I told you. Because parenting is a process. And you know that belief system is really important. To strengthen it, it's a process to strengthen it. One event won't strengthen it. It's a process, and it's like a muscle that gets stronger, your belief system. Okay? And I think PK was on the way to believing in his potential. Okay? Hockey gave him a little bit of meaning. It gave him a purpose. He found some independence. And he was mastering some skills. And when you have meaning, when you're doing something that gives you meaning and purpose, that's how you acquire resilience. That's right. That's right. PK was becoming more resilient. When people ask me today, Karl, you know, why do you think PK made it? It was his ability to deal with adversity. Deal with it. It never stopped him, and it never broke him into pieces. He was able to find a way to rise above it. That's resiliency, to bounce back, to stand up when you're knocked down. So that's the belief. So I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm going to tell you what I think we said. And I still say these same things. I use those same words, the same thoughts. I repeat them every day, even at 60 years old, because I still have doubts. And I know I can take on whatever I'm facing. And I remember at Brookview Middle School when I went back, I started my staff meeting by saying to the staff, the average person has, or the adults, has 4,000 thoughts per day. I remember I used the teacher's name. He's okay with it. Altaf Kadir said, Karl, I have an article where it says the average person has 77,000. And he brought it to me the next day. I said, Altaf, I don't care if it's 4 or 77. I'm controlling them. I'm the author of them all. And that's where I am today. And I hope all my children, all the children I work with, are the authors of those conversations. That they're the one creating them and they can own them. And this is what I say to myself. And I believe PK has said it over and over. I hope he has. My potential, because remember, that's why I taught, that's why I parent, that's why I coach. My potential lies inside me. It gives me the ability. My potential lies inside me. It gives me the ability to dream, to reach, so that I can do more, be more, and become more. Aren't those wonderful words? My potential lies inside me. It gives me the ability to dream, to reach, so I can do more and so I can be more, so that I can become more. That's, as a leader, that's how I see people. That's how I see you. I see you through that lens. That's how I see children, through that lens I call potential. Because you see, how you see the people around you speaks to them. How you see the people around you speaks to them. Can you imagine? I'm your child or grandson or daughter, principal in the school, and I'm not seeing your son or daughter or grandchild through the lens I call potential. Jesus, I don't want an educator working with my children if they don't see them that way. When I see you through that lens, I'm telling you, know what I'm telling you? You can learn, you can grow, you can develop, and you can get better. You can learn, you can grow, and you can get better. I want everyone to repeat after me, please. My potential. Oh, let's start over, okay? 1, 2, 3. My potential lies inside me. It gives me the ability to dream, to reach, to do more, to be more, to become more. Yeah. Because I was never satisfied being just a teacher. I wanted to be the best teacher. When I became a leader in a school, I wanted to be the best leader. I wanted to write a good book, the best book. I want to be the best speaker. And I know that I have what it takes to do it. My potential lies inside me. It gives me the ability to dream, to reach, to do more, to be more, and to become more. And if you're working, supervising, and I don't like to use the word manager, but as a school principal, I was a manager. It was my job to make sure that they do the schedule there to keep kids safe, to make sure we have things in place to monitor progress or lack of progress. And I know in your offices you have those same things. But my job was a leader. I said the TDSB wasn't paying me a lot of money, by the way. When I retired, it was $125,000 a year. It was, okay, hockey, geez, just paying for the boys' hockey. I needed another job, okay? I always said they weren't paying me all that money just to be a manager. They're paying Karl Subban all that money to be a leader. And it was my job to inspire people. And it starts with how I saw you. I see you through that lens I call potential. You have the ability to grow, to develop, and to learn. Okay? That's where it starts with me in terms of a leader. Okay? Is that good, everyone? Is that good? Let's get to we're going to go to the third leg now, right? We got the stool, potential, dream, the belief, the big goal. Everyone's with me? The belief system. If you don't believe you can do it, you're going to be right every time. If your patient does not believe that they can get better, they're not going to get better. They're not going to get better. Okay? So belief is really important. And how do you communicate that? How do you communicate that? They say Mother Teresa helped the poor by working with the poor. I help children by spending a lot of time with them. Time with them stays in them. If you want to influence them, then you spend time with them. My doctor spent a lot of time with me. The laughter. He'd always say, Karl, you know, I forgot this. Oh, I hated it at first when he used to talk about the baseline. Okay, the baseline, Karl. And then he started with my waistline. Okay, and I said, oh, my Lord. And then he said, what do you call this down here? All the doctors know, this measurement here. There's a measurement here. Not so much the waistline. He said, this is really important. Okay, but it's close to my waistline. And then he got on to my lifeline. You know, and he said, Karl, I know you love oxtail, but stay off the gravy. But anyway, so potential again. We have the dream, the belief, and the act, and now we have the third leg, the action. I mean, whatever dreams you have, hopefully it's more than being whatever you are today, whatever your title is. I was never satisfied with being that title. I wanted to be more. I wanted to be a difference maker. All right? And I had to make it actionable. And in school, and this is what PK did. How did he make his dream actionable? And this is how I've marketed it. This is how I've packaged it, I should say. Okay, I call it the 4 T's. You're not going to be sitting here just looking pretty, okay? I want everyone to repeat after me. 4 T's. Time. Tasks. Training. Team. That's how I sort of package action. Whatever it is that you want to be good at, whoever you want to become, you need to make time to do your tasks. You need to make time to do your tasks. Okay, PK did skating in the backyard rink, power skating, shooting pucks in the basement. He did his tasks. When kids come to school, I always tell them at Brookview, I said, listen, you guys are coming in late every day, you'll never catch up. Most of you are behind. You're behind in your schoolwork, you're coming in late every day. Time is important. So I did some things to get them to come in time. I'll share this story, it's really funny. Hey, that's leadership, by the way. That's leadership. I called the parents, I'd call all the 50 parents. The phone numbers are not working. I could say, oh man, parents don't care. Why should I care? No, I'm a difference maker. What's your purpose when you walk through those doors? Why are you there? So I got the cowbell. They give us the cowbells during the playoffs. All 3 of my boys played for George Burnett. He's now GM and coach for the Guelph Storms in the OHL. And in the playoffs in Belleville, the team's no longer there. They give us cowbells. So I'd go outside in the morning and I'd say to the kids, listen, that bell goes, that entry bell goes, you better not be moving like you're on time. When you hear me ringing, when you hear this, you better stop moving like you're late. And they had to run. And kids don't like exercise. You know what I mean? I don't know about adults, but I know kids don't. And I'd ring that bell. And they all became better runners, and they all became better students. And you know what? After a while, I had no problems with lates. I would be out there ringing the bell in the morning, and I'm like, what's that guy doing? What's he ringing the bell? It became a habit. And I made it a habit, they being in time for school. Okay? So time is important. Okay? PK made time to do his tasks when kids come to school on time, and they made time to do their tasks, their school tasks. Okay? And they're training. Whatever you're good at, it took training. You didn't become who you are overnight. Okay? If I meet a doctor and he said, geez, I'm the best doctor in the world, but it's my second day in the job, I said, okay. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay? Malcolm Gladwell wrote about 10,000 hours, right? You all know that. Okay? We get better over time, not overnight. And it's part of mastery. What are you doing to master your skills? I'm very self-directed. I get up every morning, and I read a ton, I write a ton, and I learn a ton. What are you doing to be better? Okay? So I lost my train of thought there for a second. Where was I? The 4 T's. So time, task, training. Yeah, training. You don't get better overnight, you get better over time. And the last T is team. This is really important. Team. If Karl Subban at Brookview Middle School, low morale, when we have teachers away, occasional teachers don't want to even come to the building. When they get the message, just erase it. We don't want to go to Brookview. High absenteeism. The kids are coming in late. We're way below the benchmark. Way below the benchmark of the province. All right? And so how do we get, and it was my job as the leader to create the environment for children, for them to learn and to get better. And so team, what type of leader was Karl Subban? Was he helpful? Was he a jerk? Was he, you know what I mean? What type of a person was he? What I did at school to improve my environment, you know what I did? I started collecting thank yous. I led the way. I started doing things for people to say thank you. And I expected the students to do it. And I would tell the staff, you know what? I don't want to work in a building where people are not collecting thank yous. If you're not hearing thank yous, I don't know. I don't know, maybe just a place I haven't been. I'd like to experience a place where people are not collecting thank yous. That was my job as a leader, to create a thank you environment. Doing things for others. It makes me feel better, and it makes them feel better. And it makes us all do better. Everyone agrees? Yeah, the environment you create. Okay? And as the leader of the school, I must create a winning mindset. Okay? You know, mindset is important to children. How do children feel about their learning, about their motivation? Do they believe they can learn? A lot of it has to do with the environment I create as a leader. So what environment are you creating? All right? So team is about being helpful, not hurtful. Not hurtful. I'm going to talk some more about some of the things we can do to improve that environment as a leader, because that's your job. I didn't want to be a manager. I want to be a leader. I want to be a leader. I wanted to inspire people. I want to touch them emotionally. And what I said around people, what I said and what I did impact them greatly. Impacted them greatly. What I said to them and what I did impacted the people around me. And that's my job as a leader, to make sure that they feel positive about coming to school. And I always felt, if you not feeling well today, I still want you to come. Because you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to an environment I don't mind being in. You know? And so that's leadership, creating that environment that is like a magnet. It pulls people in and keeps them together. And it all has to do with the leadership. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is, and I have lots of time here, I'm going to finish off with the last part of my presentation. But everybody's okay with potential again? All right? In terms of the stool, I love the stool, the dream, the belief, and the action, the 4 T's. The 4 T's. You know, we can somehow use the stool analogy to help people. You know what I mean? You can. I mean, you spend some time, you know, looking at it. I'm quite sure you can use it to help yourselves personally or professionally, or to help others. I love to pass that on. Now, I'm going to start off by finish off my presentation with what we did a lot of. Early morning practices at Pine Point Arena. All right? So once I got rid of the Toyota, we bought the Aerostar with 5 kids and the hockey bags. All right? So I want to take everyone here on a ride to the arena, Pine Point Arena. That's where the boys played their house league hockey. So I want everyone to come in. All right, doors open. Don't worry about seatbelts. So we're off to Point. So we have to stop at the local Tim Hortons, as you know. And it's always too cold. Okay, for these Jamaican people. Okay, it's just way too cold. So I would always take the drive-through. And I enter the drive-through. And I see that do not enter sign and cars coming out of there. Everyone's with me? We've all been down there? That do not enter sign. You know what? Maria and I have done a great job making our boys, especially our boys, aware of those do not enter signs. They're all around them. They have money, they have time. And my wife always reminds me that the boys have her looks. Okay? And sometimes dangers are lurking. So what's down there are not cars, drinking, drugs, being around the wrong people, gambling. Those things are distraction. Okay, you got to be aware of those do not enter signs where you're working. You know, that person you don't like, who you feel don't like you, why you want to go down there? Take the high road. I always say take the high road, it's closer to heaven. Take the high road. I'm not going down there. I'm not going to engage you. Okay? And by the way, that's where I plant race. The color of my skin will never be a distraction. It'll never distract me from being who I want to become or who I want to be or do. And my kids were never allowed to come home and use that as an excuse. I'm not saying things don't happen, because I am a social justice guy. But I never wanted the color of my skin to be the reason why I didn't succeed. And when Jordan scored his first goal with the Canucks, I was there doing some work, I'll tell you, Canadian Tire. And they had, the next day, I didn't know, I flew back to Toronto. He was sent back to Belleville. And he had scored a goal, and there's a caption online. You can Google it and see it. There's a caption online. And the caption, there's a picture with a caption. And it read, "Jordan is the dark guy in the middle." And that was like a little storm. And the reporters met Jordan in the airport. And I remember what he said. I've spoken to the reporter, he's apologized, and you know what? I just want to move on now. What's distracting you? Jordan did not give that incident the permission to distract him. And as a dad, I feel good about it. Yeah, they will be distracted. There'll be many distractions. But if you give them permission to take you off that path, geez, you're never going to make it to your destination. What is distracting you? What is distracting your patients? What are the distractions to my students? Okay, let's keep going now, all right? Everyone's with me? Everyone's with me? Those do not enter. Be aware of them. Be aware of them. Then I get to the order window. You got to place your order. PK placed his order. He knew what he wanted. What do you want? What do you want out of work? What do you want out of work? What do you want out of your relationships? What are you doing to become better? What are you doing to grow? What are you doing to be a better leader? I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing even to be a better parent. Because I got a lot of pats on the back, and nobody's fooling me, okay? Because my parenting is not over. You know what I mean? I'm not going to rejoice. The exam hasn't been, I'm still writing that exam, okay? I don't know when that parenting exam is going to be over. I'm still writing it. Like PK said in Montreal, he goes, you know what? I don't want to be remembered as a hockey player. I want to be remembered as a guy who played hockey. Okay, he's placed another order. Yeah, I want to be in the NHL now. He's placing another order. Who do you want to be? What do you want to become? What are you doing to get better? Then we drive to the pickup window. We drive to the pickup window. And what must we do before they give us what we ordered? What must we do? You got to pay. There's a price for our success and our achievement. And sometimes you're going to be knocked down. Sometimes people are going to doubt you. Sometimes people are going to underestimate. There's a price to be paid. And are you willing to pay it? That's why believing in your potential is so important. It's your skills, your abilities. I call it, it's like a suitcase that has your skills, your abilities, and all your talents and your capabilities. We just need to believe in it, and we need to find a way to bring it out. Okay, so we got to pay the price. PK has paid the price. And my life now, I've paid the price to write a book, and I'm going back through the drive-through again. And I have to deal with the doubts and the doubters. Okay? And one lesson I've learned, because I believe in my potential so much, and I love it, that I've realized that sometimes people will doubt Karl Subban. They will underestimate Karl Subban. They will doubt PK Subban. They will underestimate PK Subban. But they should never, ever, ever doubt our potential or underestimate it. They should never, ever, ever doubt our potential or underestimate it. It's more than eyes can see. It's more than eyes can see. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Subban, for coming in. He has agreed actually to hang out in the foyer. If anyone wants to ask him any questions or take any pictures, autographs, all that fun stuff. Otherwise, again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to FMF this year. We still have a couple more hours of sessions before we wrap it up officially. Also, we have convocation for everyone who's participating in that. It will happen back in this room. Everyone should already have your gowns already, but they are located next door. The exhibit hall will be closing at the end of this break, so we have about a half hour left of exhibit hall time. Anyone who's been participating in the silent auction, please check back at the College Square to see if you are the winner of your item, and also to pay and pick up your item. And other than that, please remember to fill out your evaluations for each session, and you should have all received an email to link you to our FMF overall evaluation questionnaire, and we'd appreciate any feedback you have on that as well. So once again, have a great rest of the afternoon, and thank you for coming. Hope to see you next year in Vancouver.